show that cold email is one of the highest ROI methods for client acquisition when it is done right. Cold email is cost effective, scalable, and when executed properly, just as I showed you just now, it can generate consistent results month over month. For some reason, most business owners either ignore cold email completely or write it off as ineffective. After seeing what I just showed you and what it has done for my business, you might be wondering why. Well, it's because they don't have the time to figure it out, they can't make it work, or they had a bad experience in the past, of which I can't blame them. Here's the truth: if your cold email feels generic, rushed, or impersonal, they simply won't work. People nowadays, because email has been around for the longest time and people are getting blasted left and right, they can instantly spot an email that was blasted out to hundreds of others without any effort. When you take the time to craft emails the right way, cold emailing becomes one of the most powerful tools in your outreach arsenal, if not the most powerful tool. Now, the common mistake people make when starting cold outreach is they try to do everything manually. I've heard this complaint thousands of times. They themselves dive into personal LinkedIn profiles, they look onto company websites, and they do endless Google searches, hoping to find the right details for each and every prospect themselves. This is a very tedious process, as you might imagine. It's repetitive and it eats up hours of your valuable time. And after all that work, the results rarely justify the efforts. Details get missed, leads pile up, and the process slows to a crawl, because once you're doing everything, all the research manually, you can't really be occupied with follow-ups. This method simply doesn't scale. That's why I promote automation on my channel, because this is where automation changes everything. Tools like ChatGPT or Claude can do the heavy lifting. They process massive data sets, extract the details you need, and organize everything in minutes. Automation is a game changer for 3 reasons, and that's why I love talking about it so much. First of all, being speed. Automation means you can process hundreds, even thousands of leads in the time it takes you to drink a coffee. Large language models are also insanely accurate. They use clean, consistent data without any errors or oversights. They won't make human errors like you and I. And then thirdly, they're insanely scalable. Like, your time is limited, but automation works endlessly. In cold outreach, speed and precision are everything. Simply put, manual work holds you back. Automation keeps you moving forward. Instead of wasting hours on research, it frees you up to craft email templates that convert and focus on closing deals. This isn't just about saving time, it's about making the entire process smarter, faster, and more effective. For my subscribers, they might remember 2 videos ago, I showed how to pull key variables from a personal LinkedIn profile, a company LinkedIn profile, or a company's website. If you missed that video, check it out after this one. I'll give you a quick breakdown of the process. Let me quickly go over the flows again, so you have an idea of how it works if you haven't seen it before. The way you have to look at this is these are 3 individual flows essentially, and each of these flows scrapes a different source. In the first one, we scrape someone's personal LinkedIn profile. The second one, we scrape a company LinkedIn profile. And then lastly, we scrape the company website, which in this case is just only their homepage. Each of these sources gets us different information. So on the personal LinkedIn profile, we might get to learn something about the interests of the lead, like the school they went to, an oversight of their career, how long they've been at the company they've been at now, or when it was founded, if let's say you're targeting a founder. Also, a lot of C-suite people like to talk about their philanthropic efforts, if they're part of any non-profits, things like that. That's always a good thing to use as an opener in your email. The same goes for you and I. We like to be complimented about the things that we're doing correctly. Same goes for mutual connections. Let's say you and the lead have some mutual connections. That's a very big bonus because you can mention them or let the AI mention them, which brings us on to the company LinkedIn profile. A completely different set of information. So some different variables you can get from that. We can look at the company size, if there are any posts about recent growth, recent achievements, or they've received funding, for example. Funding is especially a big one. For me, I target a lot of SaaS companies. There is a lot of money in the SaaS world. Companies are getting funded left and right. And it is the ideal situation for me to step in because I know they just received a big bag of money. that they're looking to spend, and they're also looking to expand their sales, which is exactly what I can help them with. But this is, of course, different for whatever service you offer. Just thought it was an interesting side note for those who are looking to start the exact same kind of business that I currently have. And then lastly, as I already briefly talked about, we can scrape the company website. Well, on the company website, 9 out of 10 times, all of this is present, like the pricing, testimonials, and success stories. Their USP, for those who aren't familiar with that abbreviation, USP means unique selling point. Companies always like to state how they're different from the rest, even though they're selling the exact same product. But talking about the USP in a cold email can be very interesting because it shows you have an understanding of what they actually sell and how they actually set themselves apart from their competition. And then lastly, based on the information on the homepage of a company, you can usually determine their ICP. A little trick that I like to use is I like to use the ICP, which was determined by the AI somewhere in the beginning of the email, not only showing that I understand their business, but also saying that I can bring them in contact with their ICP, which to them sounds like a no-brainer because that's exactly who they want to be in contact with. Getting information from any of these sources, let alone all of these sources, lets you craft a message that directly ties your offer to their priorities and challenges, or just says something nice about them personally, which can also be a big help. Automation can pull all of these variables for you, saving hours of manual work, because scraping all of these sources yourself, well, it would at least take you half an hour. Once you have this data, crafting personalized high impact outreach become much easier and much more effective. Because on this channel, I'm all about providing value, I'm going to show you guys the exact email template that I used to get almost 52,000 in potential revenue just last month. No fluff, no gimmicks. As you can see, it has worked, and I'm going to show you how I set it up. I'm going to break it down for you and tell you exactly why it converts. So you can copy it straight up, or you can use it as a foundation to create your own. Either way, you'll walk away with something you can implement immediately, you can implement into your strategy today. Writing cold emails is not about throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. It's about a strategy, precision, and making every email count. So let's get into it. What you see on screen right now is actually the opening email of my sequence. Everything that's within brackets is a variable that I let the AI fill in. So that was part of an automation. I'll dive into the exact high-ticket automation that I used for this one in future videos. So if you're interested, please subscribe. So we're starting off with the simplest form of personalization, which is just a first name. I'll quickly read you through the email and then I'll talk about the structure. So I found you on LinkedIn and noticed a specific detail about them or their company. So I thought I'd reach out. I'm a freelancer who builds systems for agencies to generate 20 sales appointments a month without spending a cent on ads. In December, I helped ConvertSoul book 124 appointments in under 30 days. I'm confident we can achieve similar results for company name. Is risk-free. We guarantee at least 20 appointments in the first 2 months, or you don't pay. Would a quick 10-minute call this week work for you? Well, you might notice that even though I talk about personalization in email nonstop, it's also the art to not overdo it. So the only big chunk of personalization that was present in this email is this part about specific details about them or their company. So you have to imagine, and I'll show you quite quickly over here, is I used a combination of these flows. I put them all together kind of like this, just to give you. And then at the end, there was a large language model which took the information or the answers to the questions from all of the data sources, so the personal LinkedIn profile, the company LinkedIn profile, and the company website, and kind of classified what piece of information was the most interesting to write a short personalization about. And then I uploaded that onto this template, which came out with some amazing results. As I said previously, a lot of the SaaS companies that I was targeting did receive some funding. So often funding was mentioned, or recent growth, like a new hire, or maybe a new office they opened, or a new product they launched, you name it. But even though that is like different for everyone, the rest of the email template is pretty straightforward. And as I said, I send out thousands of emails a month, and even though my email templates might change, my call to actions might change, whatever, the structure is always the same. So you just open the email, use their first name. Then we're on to personalization, which is very high up there. If someone receives an email, well, if you receive an email in your inbox, what you see is a subject line. Subject lines are always also very straightforward. And then you see like, I believe 40 characters, which is the first line of the email or part of the first line of the email, depending on how long it is. And if that says something about a person or about an achievement they've had or something that happened to them recently, they're much more likely to open the email because that's actually something that they can read and that it might be thought-provoking. And that's exactly what you want. You want to provoke them to read the rest of the email, read your offer, and eventually book a call with you. Then we're on to this part, which I've named Sell the Dream. Businesses are not interested in what you do or how you do it. They're just interested in what you can bring them, what you can do for them, how their life is going to be easier. So sell them the dream. In this case, it was very simple. I said, I'm a freelancer who builds systems that generate 20 sales appointments a month. What business owner doesn't want 20 sales appointments a month with qualified leads? Everyone who wants to scale and who isn't thinking about retirement wants that offer. Then add some social proof, because you have to imagine this is a cold email. Well, you might be able to imagine maybe you've received some cold emails with offers. This is someone you don't know. You've never heard of them, probably, unless you have a big company already. Otherwise, you've never heard of them. You don't know who they are. You don't know really what they do. So name dropping helps a lot. If you worked with big companies, use that for sure. If you've worked with big names in the industry, let's say you're in the influencer space, use those like Gary Vee, Tony Robbins, you name it. I haven't been around that long. I've worked with a couple of 7 and 8 figure companies. One of them was Convert Soul, and I actually helped them to book 124 appointments in under 30 days. It was for demos, which made my job a lot easier, but this is factual. And then a guarantee. The guarantee was something I wasn't too sure about when I started off, but I read the book $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi, and he was like, you always have to offer someone a risk-free guarantee in some way. If you haven't done it in the past, or you're starting out just like I was a few months ago, this might be a little bit daunting, but rest assured, just think of something you think you'll be able to deliver. And if it's not the case, well, at least you've had the experience and you know you have to change your guarantee for the next one. Adding a guarantee to my emails has been a game changer for my positive reply rates. It's also something people talk about during meetings, so it's something they really pick up from the email. And it just gives them that little push, that little nudge, that I'm confident that I can bring them results and they won't be wasting either their time or their money with me. And then lastly, the call to action. In this case, I asked for a quick 10-minute call this week. I don't always advise to immediately ask for a call, really depending on your service. I mean, if your offer is good and you're confident in what you do and you have but let's say you have a bit of a more complicated service or product, it might be interesting for you to, instead of ask for a call, ask if you could send over a case study or if you could send over some more information, concluding that the call to action can be different depending on your niche, depending on who you're targeting. You could try asking for a call immediately. If you have little success, try switching it up. Try providing more value first, because people like to have some value first before they're willing to provide value, in this case, their time to book a meeting. Just whenever you're writing an email, if you're not copying mine, just remember this structure. This structure works like a charm, bringing me on to the follow-up email. So in essence, I almost always send 3 emails if I'm asking for a call in the first one. Otherwise, I send 4 emails, with the second one being a follow-up with the video sales letter, for example, or a case study. The second email is really just there to kind of restate what I sent in the first email. Sometimes a lot of founders get tons of emails each and every day, so it might get snowed under inside of their inbox. So we just want to kind of up it again, be on top of it. So maybe they'll give it a read. It is a very similar structure to the first one, so there's not really much to talk about. I'll quickly read it for you guys. So, hey, first name, just wanted to follow up to see if you had a chance to check out my last message. I'd love to connect. Here's the short version. Here I don't use the exact same social proof that I used in my first email. I use a different one, and I also make a guarantee. So the structure remains the same. Then I ask for a 10-minute call this week, same as I did before. And I also give them a little nudge that if this isn't your area, could you point me to the right person? Meaning Let's say you target a founder of a company, but he's not in charge. This is a interesting nudge, because there's also been a lot of people who responded really just only based on this trigger, saying, hey, I am the right person, but I just don't have time right now. Meaning they're engaged. You can send them follow-up emails, because once someone's engaged, like, everything is fair. And then lastly, there is a third email. This is kind of my goodbye email, as you can see. I'll read it. So lastly, there's the third email, which is my goodbye email. You don't want to pester people too long. Well, in my experience, if they've ever responded to one of your emails, be sure to hit them every day, every other day, until you have booked a meeting. But if they haven't responded, maybe give it up and follow up with them in a few months' time with like either a new offer or something different, something you've tweaked. This one gets a lot of replies, actually. Thought I'd hit you one last time. I still think I can send some leads your way, but I'll assume the timing isn't right. No hard feelings. If you see room to grow, just let me know and we can help on a quick call to break it down. Everyone is looking to grow their business, unless you're looking for retirement. So I've had so many emails, so many responses to this email of people saying, hey, yeah, I am looking to grow. I am looking to scale my business, but this and this, or I don't have time right now. Can you follow up with me in a week? Which is exactly why you do this. You give them kind of like the final nudge without being too salesy, saying, hey, if scaling or growing your company is not your priority, which of course it is their priority, you just get them exactly where you want, meaning they'll respond to you. So for those paying close attention, you might have noticed that really only the first email has some more advanced personalization, and the rest of them just include their first name and their company name. You could use some other personalization in the follow-up emails. To give you guys an example, something that I've used in the past was in like the second or third follow-up email saying, hey, I just closed a deal with, within brackets, type of company. And then I would have AI determine what type of company they are. So they think, oh, well, they closed a deal with someone familiar to what I offer. They might be good at what they do. If you've booked a success or anything, let's check it out, book a call. That's a very powerful way of using personalization, but it has to be noted that personalization shouldn't be overdone. As I always state, writing the templates yourself is almost a must, because there are variables, bringing you back to the first one. Like, there are variables like either your offer, which is sell the dream, or your guarantee, which you have to like fine tune as you go. Whether you're a B2B business owner, whether you're starting out like I did yourself with an agency, tweaking your offer it's an ongoing process. Same goes for the guarantee. The market which you're in is always evolving, I assume. So there might always be like new offers working now which weren't working months ago, or the other way around. The same goes for the guarantee. I mean, in the lead generation business, which I am in, there are also a lot of people who sell their services based on results. So they only charge per booked meeting instead of on a retainer. I don't really think that's a feasible way to go about it, because that's a race to the bottom, but to each their own. So while your competitors waste time sending bland generic emails, you are sending messages that land in the right inboxes because you've got your templates ready, and using flows just like these, you have all the information also ready to fill in those templates and actually get results. Using automations just like this and like the other ones I always highlight on my channel, you're not just keeping up, you're staying ahead of the competition, because a person can't compete with what you're doing. An SDR simply can't compete with what you're doing. So please feel free to copy my systems, go back in other videos, copy those systems. In the future, I'll upload all of these systems in a school community, so it's for everyone to download. Just a little side note, because I know there are a lot of agency and B2B business owners who are watching my videos and they don't have the time to do everything themselves and set it up themselves. And that is exactly what I can help with. As most of you will know by now, I run a lead generation agency and I send out hundreds of thousands of emails every month. These emails aren't random, they're personalized, targeted, and built to convert using the exact same systems that I showcase, using the exact same templates and copywriting methods that I've showcased in this video. And this process consistently books hundreds of meetings for me and my client every month, just like I showed you. Right now, I've got a few spots left in my agency. So if you are serious about scaling your business and want to explore how cold outreach can help you grow, hit the link in the description to book a free discovery call, and I can walk you end to end how I automate the entire process up until the sales call, and I can even automate the onboarding process. So let's see how we can take your business to the next level. Then all that remains is for me to thank you guys so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos, any future value. If you got any questions, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. I read all my comments and I try to answer them as fast as I can. I'll see you guys next time. Keep pushing forward and let's make big things happen. Bye.